would you answer these questions? Has the FAA completed a workforce review recommended by the Department of Transportation, IG, in 2015 as it relates to your workforce needs?
We are in the process of completing that review in the context of the certification reform legislation. As I said, we have increased our number of human factors experts, almost doubled our cadre there. We have done a review of our chief scientists and technical advisors and using them as well. But that review is ongoing, and look forward to working with the committee as it is completed, because I think that we need to continue to make sure that that's a dynamic process.
Well, we had a deadline for September 23rd, 2021, and certainly you could have written to Congress and said, we can't meet that deadline. But having a workforce that you know is the technical oversight necessary to do the reviews, we think is step number one. And when we look at the lack of technical oversight on certain issues in a changing dynamic aviation market, this is really problematic. And I think in Mr. Wan's letter, he's basically talking about the fact that 53 people in an oversight office of 1,500 people on such the scale of aviation manufacturing is not enough. Would you agree?
We have increased our number of engineers in the BASU and our engineers on the production line as well, and we will continue to evaluate all of that going forward.
This is the language I don't like. Okay, we had a deadline. We would have loved to see an assessment of the workforce, something that would have said to Congress, here is where we think we're coming up short. Here's what we think we need to do. So today, just like all the other IG reports, everything else, the comments back from the FAA are, we're working on this. We want to get on the same page about needs. We're about to go into our appropriation process. And even though we have authorized various things in the past, we have appropriators who end up cutting these very necessary functions for the FAA to do a good oversight role. But if we just say for a deadline of September 23rd of this year, we're continuing to work on it in the future, it hasn't given us the ability to hold you accountable. And that's what we're going to do. We have to do that because we need this system to work effectively for everybody, for safety and for economics. So I want to get to because my time is going to dwindle down here, the critical safety functions. And this was something our House colleagues worked on as well and put in civil penalties for violation of disclosure of this information. And I guess what I'm saying is your process right now is following a tab process, the same process of oversight and collection by individuals that led us to the MCAS system. That group didn't catch MCAS. And what we've written into law is that we want an integrated system, if you will. Some people call it graybeards. And we want those people at the beginning of the process. We want them reviewing the critical information and determining whether more oversight needs to be done. So do you think that your tab process is a fulfillment of the law?
We are adapting the tab process to comport with the legislation. So it is a good starting point, but this integrated project team that you're referring to is definitely a part of what we are doing going forward and how we are organizing ourselves, both for future certification projects and for projects that are ongoing now.
But we have certification going on right now.
Yes.
So why wouldn't you have made a big priority setting up a critical information certification team now for the ongoing certification projects? The reason I'm bringing this up is, again, we've seen two instances here where you're going to issue a report from whistleblowers before the end of the year. And what we're hearing from whistleblowers is the same that we've heard from the IG and others, and that is that line engineers had early warnings, whether it's the 787 battery issue or whether it was this issue related to synthetic airspeeds or the complexity of automation and overload of pilots in the system. But those line engineers weren't listened to. And that's why we want this critical information system and integrated set up immediately.
Yes, ma'am. And the voluntary safety reporting program that we've had in place is one mechanism, but the integrated program reviews are ongoing now, and that will be a big part of both existing projects and the new certification projects.
I will come back to this, but I want to go to my colleagues. But I just want you to know, I'm not going to allow the law to be skirted here. This issue is about whether you're going to follow a process that allows us to see the work of the FAA, see that it's completed, and not just hear it's ongoing. Thank you. Senator Wicker.